Hello boys and girls, it's Mrs. Restituyo with our next social studies lesson. Today we're going to be learning about our country's land. I'm on page 112 in the social studies packet. So the big idea today is that land in our country has many shapes and sizes. Some of the vocabulary you need to know for this lesson is the word landform, hill, plain, mountain, valley, island, and peninsula. So I'm going to show you a strategy as we read. I've just set up a piece of loose leaf paper and I created a chart. Under here is going to be the vocabulary word. In this section we're going to write the meaning, and then in this side we're going to draw a quick hint, sketch it out, how we can remember the meaning of that word. Okay, so the first word, when we come across in the passage, the vocabulary words are going to be in bold print. So when I see it, that's where I'm going to stop, write the word, write the meaning from the text, and then draw my own hint. So let's show you how we do this. Our country's land. As Tulip traveled from Ohio to Oregon, she saw many kinds of landforms. A landform is a kind of land with a special shape. So I see here that the word landform is in bold, and that is my first vocabulary word. So I'm going to go over to my chart and take note that the first word is landform. Okay, and in the text it says a landform is a kind of land with a special shape. So I'm going to write that meaning. So that's a kind of land with a special shape. And there are many different kinds of landforms. We're not sure which one we're going to discuss first. So a landform is a kind of land with a special shape. So I'm just going to draw a hint. I'm thinking to myself, one landform that I know of, okay, is a plain. So that's flat land, okay, with hardly any trees, just maybe some grass. Okay, another landform that I know of, my background knowledge, I can draw a mountain. Now I'm just doing my best. Okay, that's the plain, that's a mountain. Okay, so those are just two hints, some examples of different landforms I already know about. I'm sure we're going to learn about more as we read. So let's go back. Hills and plains. Some parts of Iowa are covered by rolling hills. A hill is land that rises above the land around it. And they have a picture of that here, a hill. So see how the land rises above all of the other land around it. So the next word on my chart is the vocabulary word. I'm going to draw a line across the word hill. And it says right here in the text, a hill is land that rises above the land around it. So I'm going to take notes for the meaning. A hill is land that rises above the land around it. Okay, and I'm just going to draw a quick sketch of a hill. So I have flat land and then rising above and then coming back down, but it's definitely not as big or as pointy as a mountain. Okay, so I just did like a curved line. So now we have two vocabulary words with meanings and hints on our chart. So we're going to continue to read and take note as we go. Let's turn the page. Plain. I look carefully at the pictures when I get to the next page so I can see what a plain looks like. For example, they have here, located in the United States, Nebraska has a plain in it. That's what that's showing us there. The Nebraska plain or flat land stretches as far as the eye can see. The plains of Nebraska are part of the Great Plains, which spread from Texas to Montana. Many farms and cities have grown up on the plains in the middle of our country. Okay, so I'm going to take a note. The next word here that's in bold is the word plain. So now I can write P-L-A-I-N. And for this definition of the word plain, it says it's flat land. Okay, so take note of the meaning, flat land. And then I'm just going to draw a quick sketch of a flat land. Okay, you can also look to the pictures here to help you see how flat it really is. Hardly any trees. Okay, let's continue. Mountains and valleys. Snow never melts on top of some of the highest mountains of Colorado. A mountain is a very high hill. Between the high mountains are valleys. A valley is lowland between hills or mountains. It often has a stream or river flowing through it. Okay, so we have two vocabulary words here because they're in bold, mountain and valley. So I'm going to continue to add and take notes on my chart. The next word that I found in the text is mountain. And the definition, if I go back to the text and reread, a mountain is a very high hill. So then I'll add that. A very, a little too close, very high hill. Okay, now I want to make much taller than my hill. So I'm going to use pointy peaks for my mountain and just do the best that I can. Okay, and the next word in the text that we find the definition is valley. So I'll draw a line across here and add the word valley to my chart. And I'll go back to the text and reread. It says a valley is a low land between hill or mountains. So let me take note, low land between hill or mountains. Okay, so I'm going to draw two mountains on the side and sort of a valley below. Okay, this would be the valley here, so I'm just going to label that with a little arrow, okay, just so I remember my own hint. Low land between hill or mountains. This would be a mountain, and this would be a mountain, and I'll remember my notes. That's M for mountain. Islands and peninsulas. Small and large islands are found in bodies of water. An island is a landform with water all around it. Some islands are connected. Some islands are connected to land by bridges. Others can be reached only by boat or plane. The state of Hawaii is made up of many islands. They have a picture of Hawaii here. Okay. If a landform is surrounded on only 3 sides by water, it is called a peninsula. The state of Florida is a large peninsula. The photograph shows how Florida looks from space. Wow, Florida Peninsula. So you see, we have 1, 2, and then 3 sides, but this side is still connected by land, so then it's considered a peninsula. So I'm going to take notes, continue my word, meaning, hint chart. Now I just learned 2 more words from the text and their meaning. So I go back to the text. The next word we learned, island. It's in bold. And the definition is a landform with water all around it. So I'm going to add that to my chart. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture, my best picture of an island. Okay, here's an island, and then I'm just doing little waves so I remember the whole thing is surrounded by water. And the next word we learned is peninsula. So I'm going to copy the word and make sure I spell it correctly by going back and looking at the text. And then I'll reread to find the definition. If a landform is surrounded by water on only 3 sides, then it's called a peninsula. Okay, so I'm going to draw my best that I can of what Florida looks like. Okay, and then I'll just label it here so I remember what that is. Florida. Okay, so those are my notes, my word, meaning, and hint for the last 2 vocabulary words I learned from the text. So now you're going to review this on your own. Number 1, categorize what are 2 kinds of land. So set up a piece of loose leaf with your name, date, and write what are 2 kinds of land. Okay, now you have all this information from our notes for the word, meaning, and hint that describe 2 different types of land. So use all the work you just did to now answer number 1. And then vocabulary, what landforms do you live on or near? So think about what you just learned about all these different types of landform. Hills, plains, mountains, valleys, islands, and peninsulas. And think about, where do you live near? And then answer number 2. And finally, number 3, this is just going to be a bonus. You do not have to do number 3, okay? But if you have access to cutting out pictures, printing something, you can make your own picture dictionary of landforms. But that's just extra. You don't need to do that because we took all of our notes right here and drew our own pictures. Okay? Any questions? Please message me in Class Dojo. Have a great day. Happy learning.